In a world where connections seem fleeting and genuine understanding feels rare, there exists a profound truth that ancient Stoic philosophers understood deeply. The power of words, when wielded with wisdom and authenticity, can create bonds that transcend the ordinary. Today we're going to explore something that goes far beyond manipulation or tricks. We're talking about the kind of communication that touches the very core of human connection, the kind that makes a man feel truly seen, valued and understood in ways he never imagined possible. Before we dive deep into this transformative knowledge, let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some women seem to effortlessly create deep, lasting connections while others struggle despite their best efforts? The answer isn't in physical appearance or playing games. It lies in understanding the fundamental principles of human nature that the Stoics recognized thousands of years ago. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers and Roman emperor, once wrote about the power of genuine connection and how our words can either build bridges or create walls. He understood that true influence comes not from manipulation, but from authenticity and wisdom. This is what we're exploring today, a path that honors both you and the person you're connecting with. Let me share something that might surprise you. Men, despite what popular culture suggests, are not as complicated as they seem, but they are deeply misunderstood. Most advice out there tells you to play hard to get, to be mysterious, to follow a set of rules. But here's what the Stoics would tell you. What truly matters is not the game you play, but the genuine connection you create. The first principle from Stoic philosophy that changes everything is this: authenticity attracts authenticity. When you speak from a place of genuine care and understanding, you create a resonance that cannot be faked. Epictetus taught that we should focus on what is within our control, our thoughts, our words, our actions, and let go of what isn't. When you approach connection from this place of centered authenticity, everything shifts. So what are these words that create such profound impact? They're not magic spells or rehearsed lines. They're expressions of understanding that touch something deep within the masculine soul. Let me guide you through this with the wisdom of the ancients combined with modern understanding. The first phrase that creates an almost magnetic pull is simple yet profound. I believe in you. But it's not just about saying these words, it's about meaning them with every fibre of your being. Most men go through life feeling like they need to prove themselves constantly. To their employers, to their friends, to society, even to themselves. They carry the weight of expectations and the fear of failure, like Atlas carrying the world on his shoulders. When you look a man in the eyes and genuinely tell him that you believe in his capabilities, in his dreams, in his potential, you're offering him something rare. You're giving him permission to be vulnerable, to share his aspirations without fear of judgment. But remember, the Stoics taught us about integrity. Don't say this unless you mean it. False encouragement is worse than no encouragement at all. The second powerful communication principle comes from understanding that men are often starved for genuine appreciation. Not flattery, not empty compliments, but real recognition of their efforts. Here's where most people get it wrong. They focus on outcomes. Great job on that promotion or nice car. But what creates deep connection is recognizing the process, the struggle, the effort behind things. Try this instead. I see how hard you work, even when no one else notices. This statement does something profound. It tells him that you're paying attention, that you value his character and dedication, not just his achievements. Seneca wrote extensively about the importance of effort over outcome, about how true virtue lies in the struggle itself, not just the victory. When you acknowledge a man's effort, you're speaking directly to his sense of honor and dedication. Now let's talk about something that creates even deeper bonds. Men, despite what society tells them, have emotions that run as deep as anyone's, but they've been conditioned to suppress them, to be strong, to not show weakness. The Stoics weren't about suppressing emotions. They were about understanding and managing them with wisdom. There's a crucial difference. When you create a safe space for a man to express himself without judgment, you become irreplaceable in his life. The phrase that opens this door is, "You don't have to be strong all the time, not with me." These words are revolutionary because they challenge everything society has told him about masculinity. You're offering him refuge, a place where he can let his guard down. But here's the critical part. You must honor this vulnerability if he shares it. The Stoics believed in the sanctity of trust and the importance of being a safe harbour for others. If a man opens up to you and you use his vulnerability against him later, you've not only damaged that relationship, but you've betrayed the very principles we're discussing. Another phrase that resonates deeply with the masculine spirit is rooted in partnership and respect. I trust your judgment. In a world where men constantly feel questioned and second-guessed, your trust becomes a gift beyond measure. But again, authenticity is key. Don't say this about everything. Choose moments where you genuinely do trust his judgment, where his expertise or insight exceeds yours. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius frequently wrote about the importance of recognizing the unique strengths in others and allowing them to shine in their areas of excellence. When you acknowledge a man's wisdom and trust his decisions, you're not diminishing yourself, you're strengthening the bond between you by showing that you see him as a capable, intelligent partner. Here's something that might challenge conventional dating advice. Vulnerability is not weakness. When you share your own struggles, fears, and imperfections, you create space for genuine connection. The phrase, "I don't have it all figured out either," is disarmingly powerful. It removes the pressure of perfection that both of you might be feeling. Stoicism teaches us that wisdom comes from acknowledging what we don't know, from being honest about our limitations while working to improve. When you model this kind of honest self-awareness, you invite him to do the same. This creates a relationship built on reality, not fantasy, and those are the relationships that last. Let me share another principle that the Stoics understood deeply: the power of presence. In our modern world of constant distraction, truly being present with someone is a rare and precious gift. The words, "I'm here right now with you," might seem simple, but when said with full presence and attention, they convey something profound. Put away your phone, turn off the television, look him in the eyes and really be there. Marcus Aurelius wrote about the importance of being fully present in each moment, of not letting your mind drift to the past or future. When you practice this presence, you're offering something that almost no one else in his life is offering: your complete attention and care. Now let's discuss something that creates lasting attraction: shared vision. Men are often driven by purpose and direction. When you can say, "I see the life we could build together," and paint that picture with genuine excitement and commitment, you're speaking to something fundamental in the masculine psychology. But this isn't about losing yourself in his dreams. It's about finding where your visions align and building something together. The Stoics believed in living according to nature, which includes our nature as social beings who thrive in meaningful relationships. When you express a shared vision, you're inviting him into a partnership where both of you can pursue virtue, growth, and fulfillment together. This isn't about dependency, it's about interdependence, about two strong individuals choosing to walk the path of life together. Here's a phrase that disarms defensiveness and creates openness: "Help me understand." Instead of accusation or assumption, you're approaching challenges with curiosity and a genuine desire to see his perspective. This is pure Stoic wisdom. Epictetus taught that we should always seek to understand before judging, to recognize that everyone acts according to what they believe is right in that moment. When conflicts arise, and they will because that's part of any real relationship, approaching them with, "Help me understand your perspective," rather than, "You're wrong," changes everything. You're offering respect and the assumption of good intent. This creates safety and encourages honest communication. Let me share something about masculine energy that's often misunderstood. Men need to feel needed, but not in a way that diminishes your capability. It's about partnership, not dependency. The phrase, "I value what you bring to my life," acknowledges his contribution, without suggesting you couldn't survive without him. It's about enrichment, not necessity. The Stoics taught about the importance of gratitude and recognizing the value others add to our lives. When you specifically acknowledge what he brings, whether it's his perspective, his humor, his support, or his unique way of seeing the world, you're practicing Stoic gratitude while also making him feel valued for who he truly is. Now here's something powerful about respect and admiration. Men deeply desire to be admired by the woman in their life, but not for superficial reasons. When you can genuinely say, "I respect how you handle challenges," or "I admire your integrity," you're speaking to his character, to the things he has control over and works hard to develop. Remember what we discussed earlier about Stoic principles. focus on what's within your control. When you admire someone for their character, their choices, their values, you're admiring the things they've consciously developed. This kind of admiration is far more meaningful than admiration for things they were born with or stumbled into. Let's talk about playfulness and joy, because the Stoics weren't the dour, joyless philosophers they're sometimes portrayed as. They believed in finding joy in virtue, in present moments, in simple pleasures. When you can say, "You make me laugh," or "I love how we are together," you're acknowledging the joy he brings to your life. Laughter and playfulness are essential elements of any lasting relationship. They provide relief from life's challenges and create positive associations. When a man knows he brings genuine joy and laughter to your life, it creates a powerful bond. He becomes associated with happiness, and humans naturally gravitate toward what makes them happy. Here's a phrase that might surprise you with its power. Thank you for being patient with me. Acknowledging your own imperfections and his grace in dealing with them creates mutual respect and understanding. The Stoics believed in continuous self-improvement, while accepting that we're all works in progress. When you acknowledge his patience or understanding when you're not at your best, you're doing several things. You're showing self-awareness, you're expressing gratitude, and you're recognizing his positive qualities. This creates a culture of mutual appreciation and forgiveness in your relationship. Let me share something about masculine purpose. Most men are driven by a desire to make a positive impact, to matter, to leave things better than they found them. When you can genuinely say, "You make me want to be better," you're telling him that his presence elevates you. This isn't about him out fixing you or completing you. It's about inspiration and mutual growth. The Stoic path was always about continuous improvement, about becoming more virtuous, wiser, and more aligned with reason and nature. When two people inspire each other toward growth, they create an upward spiral of positive development. This is one of the most powerful dynamics in any relationship. Now let's discuss something crucial, a man's need for freedom within connection. This might seem contradictory, but it's essential. The phrase, "I trust you without conditions or surveillance," creates safety. The Stoics understood that true virtue can only exist where there's freedom to choose. If someone is good only because they're being watched, that's not virtue, that's compliance. When you trust him to be himself, to make his own choices, to have his own friendships and interests, you're showing that you respect him as a complete individual. This doesn't mean ignoring boundaries or accepting disrespect. It means trusting that he'll honour the relationship because he chooses to, not because he's afraid of getting caught if he doesn't. Here's something about emotional safety that creates unbreakable bonds. Your feelings matter to me. Men are often taught that their feelings don't matter, that they should just get over things, be rational, be strong. When you validate his emotional experience, you're offering something rare and precious. The Stoics weren't about denying feelings, they were about not being controlled by them. There's a huge difference between acknowledging an emotion and being enslaved by it. When you create space for him to feel without judgment while also maintaining the Stoic principle of rational response, you're offering the best of both worlds. In closing, remember this: the most powerful words you can say aren't tricks or techniques. They're expressions of genuine care, respect, and understanding, rooted in timeless wisdom. The Stoics taught us that virtue, wisdom, and authentic connection are the paths to a good life. When you approach relationships from this foundation, you create something that transcends the superficial and touches the eternal. Your words have power not because they're magical phrases, but because they come from a place of genuine understanding and care. When you truly see someone, value them, believe in them, and create safety for them to be themselves, you offer something irreplaceable. That's not manipulation. That's wisdom. That's Stoicism applied to modern life. And that's what creates connections that last.